It's time for Michael Morales Torres and Lucha Libre Online.
Saludos a toda la afición de la lucha libre. Este que les habla es Michael Morales Torres, integrante del equipo de lucha libre online. Y tenemos el enorme privilegio de presentarles a nuestra invitada especial en la tarde de hoy, la hija de la leyenda, la hija de The British Bulldog, Davey Boy Smith, hermana también de Harry Smith. Georgia Smith is in the house with us in Lucha Libre Online. Ms. Smith, it is an honor for us to have you as our guest. How are you doing today?
I'm great. Thank you guys so much for having me. You guys always show my dad so much love, and you're always supporting and always sharing stuff of his, and you're just overall just positive, and I'm just really happy that we are doing this.
Thank you for being here and for taking part of your time, and for always, obviously, for keeping your dad's legacy alive along with your brother. And that's actually one of my first questions. So what's your first memory with Davey, with your father? Do you have like everyone, for example, I remember my first memory with my parents. Do you remember yours? Like your first memory you can recall with Davey?
I don't really have like a specific memory. Like I just remember like bits like in Calgary when I was maybe like 2 or 3 years old, just like little bits like watching ET or something with him, or watching like Dumbo. But you know, my dad was always on the road so much back in those times, and he was with the British Bulldog. So I saw him more on TV than I did at home. And at that age, you know, that was Davey on TV. So, you know, on TV, they called him Davey. At home, my mom called him Davey. So you'll hear Harry and I refer to him as Davey. And as you see in the documentary clips, he was Davey to us, not Dad. I know he wanted us to always call him Dad, but you know, that's who he was to us. So, yeah, those were some early memories. Anything else? I just remember like riding on his motorcycle with him. He was always like wanting to go on adventures and travel and go on jet skis, and he liked cars and flying, and he was just like an adrenaline junkie. So those were some early memories and some qualities of Davey.
I'll translate that to Spanish briefly.
Oh, okay.
En aquel momento dado, Georgia recuerda pues, a los 2 o 3 años en Calgary, en aquel momento dado, tiene unas memorias vagas viendo E.T., viendo Dumbo, viendo varias películas, pero Davey, a quien se referían a la televisión como Davies, ellos se referían como Davey. Él quería que le llamara papá, pero pues para ellos era Davey, era su papá, pero era su amigo. Estaba más tiempo en la carretera y era como este adrenaline junkie, como ella lo describe. Estaba en su motocicleta, tiene varias memorias con él que son bastante interesantes, porque pues, a la joven edad de 2 o 3 años pues ya tenía sus pocos recuerdos. I mean, it's gonna be really cool to be the daughter of Davey Boy Smith, the British Bulldog. So what does the kids in your school, I mean, what did they told you when you said, hey, my dad's the British Bulldog? Did they believe that? They didn't? Do you have like any memory of him either picking you up in school and with the dreads and everything?
Yeah, like it wasn't really brought up until like my dad, he would come pick us up, and the kids would be like, oh my God. And like there would just be like a whole, you know, lineup for Davey and his autographs. But, you know, in school in my later years, you know, I wasn't particularly cool or popular. And sometimes people wouldn't give me the time of day or like me for me. And then they'd see my dad come pick me up, and it was like, oh my God, she's cool now. So yeah, he was the kids loved him, and bring your parent to school day was a good hit with the kids.
I'll translate that to Spanish. En aquel momento dado, pues siendo una niña, nunca tuvo como que esa oportunidad de decirles, mi papá es de British Bulldog, pero cuando de repente llegaba como que, espérate, tu papá es de British Bulldog, entonces los niños hacían fila, hacían esta línea completa para poder ver a su papá, y pues obviamente cuando lo llevaba para pues, ese día de que el papá estuviera en la escuela, siempre fue un éxito con los niños. You had the opportunity of going, you know, to multiple pro wrestling events during your life, along with your brother. How did the guys receive you and your brother backstage, knowing that you were, you know, the daughter of the British Bulldog?
Well, because I was brought into it, you know, pretty much Harry and I were both brought into it as babies. So from an early age, we were always, not always, but my earliest memories again was traveling with my dad and traveling with my mom to, you know, whether it was in Florida or wherever in the States. So they always knew us from, you know, when we were babies. So they always treated us really good. But, my dad just kind of always told us, like, don't bother them when they're working. So I would just spend time with the sewing girls and be like, what are you making? What are you sewing? And see what they were doing.
So I'll translate that briefly to Spanish. En aquel momento dado, pues siempre tiene esas memorias, como dice, pues jóvenes memorias, al igual que con su hermano, tenían la oportunidad de ir. Y es bien interesante lo que ella menciona por el hecho de que no todo el mundo tiene esas memorias con su papá. Supimos que obviamente, pues en el caso de Brian Pillman era algo distinto, pues su papá falleció pues mucho más joven, pero Georgia y Harry sí tienen memorias gratas con su papá. I mean, among the many things you've done in your life, I mean, your parents, you live in Canada at a certain point. Mm-hmm. So do you have like any memory of your father coming back home? How was having him home while he was like this international superstar, this international icon? He was so much time spent on the road, but the small quantity of days of having him home, how did that feel for you guys, being his family and having him home after 10, 12, 14 days on the road?
Well, yeah, back in those days, I mean, I remember there was be weeks where like I didn't see him. I recall having 2 Christmases with my dad and all my time with him. But yeah, he was pretty quiet when he was at home. Like he just wanted to relax and just sleep. He didn't really say much, like when he would first get home, he would just kind of go in his room. But when he was home, he pretty much just relaxed and trained, and that was about it. Really, it was nothing too exciting. But I mean, we tried to always do family things and go see movies together. But we knew when he was tired.
I'll translate that to Spanish. En aquel momento podían pasar semanas sin ver a su papá porque pues, era una superestrella internacional, estaba en la carretera todo el tiempo con WWE en diferentes países, en diferentes estados, y recuerda solamente 2 navidades, 2 Christmases con él en todo ese periodo de tiempo, pues obviamente por su trabajo, y era como que pues dice que no era nada tan emocionante tenerlo en casa porque ya están acostumbrados a tenerlo, pero pues siempre pues hacía ejercicio, era una persona que le gustaba descansar porque estaba agotado de estar en la carretera, pero siempre trataban de invertir el tiempo de cualidad con su papá. Let's talk about your father's legacy inside, the pro wrestling industry. 2-time WWF European champion, 1-time WWF Intercontinental champion, and how the hell he won that title in that stage. I mean, it still gives me goosebumps. 2-time Hardcore Championship, 2-time WWF Tag Team Champion as well, Battle Royal winner at the Alberta Hall, among many other moments the British Bulldog has in his career. As Davy's daughter, what can you say is your favorite moment in your father's career?
There's a couple, but I think the number one moment would be his win at SummerSlam 1992 and winning the Intercontinental title. That would be my favorite one for obvious reasons.
Yeah, it gave me goosebumps as well. I'll translate that to Spanish. ¿Cuál es su momento favorito de la carrera de su papá? Pues obviamente ganando el campeonato intercontinental en SummerSlam en el Reino Unido ante tanta ovación. O sea, es un momento que hasta a mí, por lo menos ahora, me da escalofrío. Georgia, your father, after so many freaking years and definitely well-deserved, is getting inducted into the WWF, or this point, WWE Hall of Fame. The pandemic stopped everything. Then everyone saw the announcement. We were so excited, so thrilled, and no Hall of Fame class of 2020. No, hopefully, fingers crossed, 2021. Yeah. How do you feel your father is finally getting the recognition he's deserved for his career?
I feel like, I'm so grateful and I'm so thankful to WWE that it's finally happening. And, it's happening in Tampa. At one point it was my dad's hometown. Harry and I live here. It just works together so perfectly, and everything that's going on with him. Like, I feel like, unfortunately it didn't happen last time, but look at all the stuff that's been leading up to this upcoming Hall of Fame. You've got the documentary coming out. His social media has exploded. He's got a new wrestling store, Wrestle merch. There's other projects lined up for him that you guys will have to see. He signed up with an agency that's just going to take his brand and legacy. I mean, they're taking it to the next level as we speak. So I mean, I'm disappointed it didn't happen last year, but now I'm like, and I'm also disappointed now because there's not going to be an audience. I mean, if maybe there will be, but I'm not sure. From the sounds of it, it will probably be a virtual event. Sorry, I know you have to translate this, so I'm trying to keep it as minimal as possible. But I'm just, when I was told it was happening, I couldn't believe it. I feel like I'll really like it will click when it finally happens, and I just can't wait for that. And I think everything happens for a reason. And in my opinion, I feel like this is the most anticipated Hall of Fame for a WWE wrestler, maybe besides my Uncle Owen, and we all know that situation, but I feel like people are most excited and have long awaited for this one.
I'll translate that briefly to Spanish. Pues obviamente decepcionada por el hecho de que en el año pasado no se pudo dar por la pandemia, pero todo pasa en el momento correcto. En este punto tienen más mercancía, las redes sociales explotaron, ahora tienen una nueva agencia encargándose de llevar ese legado a otro nivel y todas las cosas están acomodadas como para que sea la mejor ceremonia. Pues hasta el momento puede que sea una ceremonia virtual, como dice Georgia, pero pues obviamente lo importante aquí es que su legado sea exaltado al Salón de la Fama y como ella dice, uno de los más esperados, al igual que Owen, pero pues ya sabemos lo que pasó. And since we are already on that topic, do you think at any point we may see either in the future, near future or long future, Owen Hart getting inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame?
No.
I don't need to translate that. That's more than clear. So WWE produced a documentary, a huge one, the series of WWE icons. We saw the Yokozuna one. Holy crap, that gave me goosebumps. That was really good because there are so many things we didn't know. I didn't know. And I believe with your father is going to be the same with, because he's also having a WWE icon episode on the WWE network. Highly probable the most anticipated documentary of 2021. How do you feel when they contacted you and your brother that they wanted, to do this project?
I was really excited about it because this is something I've been wanting to do with my dad for a long time, and I didn't know if it was going to be with WWE or with an outside company, but it was something. It was like on my list of goals for my dad because I felt like his story needed to be told. And coincidentally, another company, they want to do their own documentary. They're based in England. They want to do one on my dad as well. So. He's got such a story, and I was just so happy that it happened, and they contacted me in July about it. And then we started talking, planning things in September, and then we filmed in November. And it's just, I give WWE a lot of credit, and I think it was very admirable how during this time with the pandemic, we came together, we made it happen. My mom came down here, safely, and she came and filmed. They filmed my granddad, and I was afraid that they weren't going to be able to film my granddad because he's not doing well. My aunt got COVID, and my uncle, my dad's brother, died in December when they wanted to film. So I just thought like the odds were against us. Like I just really wanted my dad's dad to be in it because I don't know how many more times, we're going to have this chance. So in a nutshell, I put all my heart and my soul into this project, and I've tried to connect as many people in my family and my dad's friends outside of wrestling, like Lennox Lewis and other people, to be a part of it. And I can't wait to see what the finished product will be. Sorry, that was a lot.
No, first of all, my condolences to you and your family for the loss of your uncle. Let's hope to see everyone getting well soon after this pandemic situation. So I'll translate to Spanish. En aquel momento dado en julio, le hacen el acercamiento a una compañía de documentales basada en el Reino Unido. Entonces comienzan a hacer los acercamientos en medio de una pandemia, comienzan a grabar todo. Y su temor era que no pudieran, vamos a decirlo de esta manera, terminarlo, o no pudieran pues exponer el legado de su papá, que ya tiene un bucket list con todas las cosas que ella quiere exponerle el legado de su papá. Y es bien difícil porque en el periodo de tiempo pues ella pensaba que su abuelo no iba a poder ser entrevistado, su tía le dio COVID, su tío, el hermano de Davey, falleció en diciembre de COVID. Pues a la familia Smith nuestras condolencias por esa pérdida, y pues está emocionada esperando ese resultado final del documental, porque es posiblemente el documental más esperado de toda la serie de WWE Icons para este 2021. There are many things about your family that are always amazing to the fans of pro wrestling and to the media in general. So One of them is, okay, Davey is a pro wrestler. All the Hart family are pro wrestlers. Harry is a pro wrestler, your brother. Why did Georgia Smith never, try to get inside of the square circle?
If I had a dollar for every time I had that question, I'd be calling you in Dubai right now. I just never really had interest in it. It was something that Harry always, that was his passion. That was his dream. I had the Barbie dolls. He had the wrestling dolls or wrestling figures. And, he's 6'5", 250. He was made for it. And my dad, I'm sure if I were to have told him, like, look, this is something I really want to do, he may have, supported me with it, but it was something that he just, at that time, it was like women, especially his daughter, it wasn't really a place for. I mean, maybe today with like wrestlers like Natty and Charlotte and Becky Lynch and Bianca Belair, if I had that, back in 2002 or 3, he may have been like, okay, maybe would have considered it. But back then it was just a no. And actually there's a footage of my dad saying, like, it's just, no, that's not happening. So, I was his daughter and he wanted the best for me. And my dad loved what he did, but he also had a lot of, there was lots of ups and downs in his career that, he controlled and sometimes he didn't control. And he didn't want that for me. He wanted me to have a really good, happy life and the best for his young daughter.
So I'll translate that to Spanish. ¿Por qué Georgia Smith nunca entró a la industria de la lucha libre? En aquel momento dado no era el mismo ambiente que era ahora. Ahora tenemos a Charlotte, a Becky Lynch, a Bianca Belair, a diferentes personas que tienen un ambiente más saludable, pero Davey no quería que el ambiente, pues, para su hija no era algo que tampoco le llamaba tanto la atención. Harry tenía sus muñecos de lucha libre, sus figuras de acción, ella tenía sus Barbies al otro lado, y era como que no es algo que le llamó la atención tanto como Harry. Harry medía 6'5", 200 y pico de libras, un tipo grande. Y pues obviamente en este ambiente es distinto, las cosas cambiaron, pero en aquel momento dado definitivamente no era el ambiente para una chica estar, y su papá quería lo mejor para ella. So Georgia Smith is not inside the pro wrestling industry, but she is inside the pro wrestling industry because you're managing your father's legacy, your father's image, and your career. How did that happen? When do you find like enough motivation to say, okay, this is what I'm gonna do? And so far, WWE Hall of Fame induction, WWE documentary, hottest figure possibly of a legacy in the market right now, social media exploding, prowrestlingtees.com/DaveyBoySmith. There are a lot of things going in your life, and obviously I'm going to say it a little bit later also, Wrestler Central, among many other things, the agency. When did you decide that it was the right moment to come inside the pro wrestling industry, but not inside the square circle, but managing your father's career?
Well, back in 2015, I started with Pro Wrestling Tees with my dad. They had contacted me. So that was then. And, I had bought the rights to my dad's name. And, my brother and I, we own the rights to it. So that was that. But January 2019, I had some things going on in my life. And I didn't really feel fulfilled. And I just thought, maybe I should start a page for my dad, like, because there was not a lot of platforms for him online or anything. There wasn't really, there was some tribute pages, but I just thought I've got a lot of pictures and content, and I like what Shannon Lee did with her dad, Bruce Lee, and I liked how she always posted pictures and facts and things about him, and I was like, hey, I'll start it, and that was in January, and I kept it going and it was growing, and he eventually got verified and reached a certain amount of followers. And then I went to WrestleMania in Brooklyn in 2019. And I was talking to Mark Carano about, how I wanted him to be in the induction, next year for Tampa. And he said, well, never know. I can't make any promises, maybe, I don't know. And I was like, okay. And I kind of just left it. And, but, I just kept it going. I didn't expect anything. I didn't. But WWE, they eventually followed my dad's page and they took notice, and that was kind of it, really. And people, Adrian Adonis's daughter, she contacted me, emailed me recently. I've never met her, but she just said, like, what have you done to get all this popularity for your dad and the Hall of Fame. And I don't have a recipe or a secret, or it just kind of happened. But I've been consistent every single day. I wake up every single day. I wake up and I post something of my dad, or I post, there's something and it's because I care and because I love him so much and because I want the fans to see who I knew as well. Not only just as a wrestler, the star that they knew, but the father that I had. So it just kind of happened. I've grown a team now that help me with things, and it's just happened.
En el 2015, en aquel momento dado, pues hubo ese acercamiento con Pro Wrestling Tees. Eso fue eso. Eventualmente en el 2019 abre esa página de Davey Boy Smith, que todos conocemos, que ya está con el blue checkmark y todo, ya está verificada y comienza a alcanzar esta fama. Pero va a WrestleMania en Brooklyn ese año y le dice a Mark Carano, oye, yo quiero que mi papá esté en el Salón de la Fama el próximo año en Tampa. Y Carano le dice, pues no te puedo hacer ninguna promesa, pero vamos a ver qué se puede hacer. Georgia le dice, pues mira, honestamente se quedó en ese mood de que no me prometieron nada, no voy a tener expectativas, y de repente, pues obviamente esta consistencia que ha mantenido WWE, notó la página, comenzaron a seguirlo, lo exaltan en el Salón de la Fama, o lo van a exaltar al Salón de la Fama, ya está en la lista de nominados, entre muchísimas otras cosas, y es bien interesante el hecho de que pues todo surgió de manera orgánica y de manera espontánea. I also want to say something else in Spanish. Pueden seguir a The British Bulldog Davey Boy Smith en todas sus redes sociales. Instagram como The British Bulldog Davey Boy Smith, at The British Bulldog Davey Boy Smith en Instagram. Twitter los pueden seguir como @_Davey Boy Smith, @_Davey Boy Smith. Facebook, The British Bulldog, lo pueden buscar ahí mismo, Facebook, The British Bulldog. De igual manera pueden seguir a Georgia Smith en sus redes sociales como Georgia J. Smith en Instagram, al igual que en Twitter, Georgia J. Smith. Y de igual manera pueden adquirir todos sus productos directamente en prowrestlingtees.com/Davey Boy Smith, prowrestlingtees.com/Davey Boy Smith, al igual que Davey Boy Smith en Merch Central también lo tienen. Y por último, el website lo pueden verificar ahí, es daveyboysmith.com para cualquier tipo de consulta, mercancía, entre muchas otras cosas. First of all, Ms. Smith, it's been more than an honor to have you here as our guest today. Last but not least, I gotta ask about Harry. We're here, and Harry recently stated in a good interview, actually, with Alistair McGeorge from Metro UK, that he, in fact, has been approached by WWE. He's stated that more than once. How possible or impossible, close or far, do you think it is for Harry to come back to the WWE in order to keep, the legacy of the British Bulldog alive?
I mean, to be honest, he could go either way. So I'm not sure, I can't say, on confirm what he's doing, but I think, like what you said, he's closer one way.
Either way, you mean the other company and the main company, or okay? Let's leave it like that. I don't want to spoil it, but yeah, it's gonna be interesting. Georgia menciona que hay dos alternativas. Puede irse a un lado o puede irse a la otra, pero hay otra que está más cerca para Harry Smith, el hijo del British Bulldog. Hay que ver qué ocurre. Ms. Smith, thank you so much for your time and for being here with us. To all our fans in Spanish, one more time, siga las redes sociales del British Bulldog, ya las mencionamos, van a aparecer like al final. Gracias a Jacobo por el arte, y a Lu también por el arte, Jacobo por la edición. De igual manera, no pueden perderse el episodio de WWE Icon cuando salga inmediatamente de Davey Boy Smith, de British Bulldog, en el WWE Network. Eso pronto va a estar llegando. De igual manera, manténganse pendientes de las redes sociales, principalmente la de Instagram, que es de British Bulldog Davey Boy Smith. Ahí está todo lo último, Pro Wrestling Tees, WrestleMerch Central, y sigan a Georgia Smith en sus redes sociales. Thank you so much for your time, and always wishing you the best of luck, Ms. Smith.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me, and your kind words about my dad and how you said he's the hottest legacy right now. That almost brought a tear to my eye. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.